Just about time. Okay, so we minimize this window. Let's say you're on a Linux machine. This one is CentOS 7, as you know. I'm going to also log into another machine. This is a Mac machine that I'm going to log in, and I'll show you on at least 2OS and that. Some of the functionality of like using the basic calculator, we can look at it. And obviously, a lot of the functionality that is on a basic calculator already will just be a lot different than yours. But if you can make it really nice on the interface or the functionality, that would be great. So right here, I'm on two different machines. UNA-A. This is a Darwin BSD Mac version, and this is a CentOS 7. So if I just type in basic calculator, BC, notice that it shows me the version of the basic calculator. And right here, it does not tell me how to use it, right? I don't know if I don't know the syntax of a basic calculator, I would not be able to know what I'm doing it. But I'm going to start with writing 2 just to enter, see what it says. It just print that number. If I type in 5, it just print that 5. So it's almost like a wild read $sign var, just print it. If you could do that same thing within the bash, like the last time I showed you guys, you could do this. So at this time, if I just say Q for quit, it does not understand the Q. It's not just there. But if I just type in quit, it's going to know. That is a simple option that if I get into a program, I should be able to quit out of it. So that's one thing that you should do on the validation of your code, that when the user is giving input, if they didn't give any other argument, that they just gave some numbers, and that number doesn't mean anything to you, just display it back. So this is the programmer who wrote a basic calculator at the time, decided that this is a nice way. It's your choice. If you just say, once they put the 2 and press enter, you could just still say, I did not understand that, what you wanted to do it to. But if you say, well, yeah, I want to do some calculation now, I say 2 plus 2, then it's going to just add it up. So now I say 2 plus 5 plus 9, and no matter how many numbers I put, it's going to just do that one. So at that time, I could just say minus 5, minus 10. If I just do that, and it will just add up the numbers, and now I change the operators, say multiply this one first. So the expression that I'm doing is 2 times 5 is done first, then the addition and then subtraction is done next. So that's 90 minus, and 2 times 5 is 10, and then 9 minus 10 is 1, 1 minus 9, let me see, the order is there. So 9 minus 2 times 5 is done first, that is 10. Then 9 minus 1 is going to be 1. 1 minus 10 is 9. So if I just put the same expression, 2 times 5, and then say plus 5 plus 9, and then minus 10, and the value is still there because it does that. And now if I just put this in the expression, so this is going to be still 9. And then now if I just say, make sure, like for example here, put another number after this, say minus 5, or just subtract that number. Whatever you decide to do on these numbers, the result will be different based on the order of precedence, how it is done, which one is done first and which one is done next. So some other functions like power function is in your script you might be doing pow 2 to the power of 5. This is not going to understand that one. You see, it says runtime error function. So as soon as I gave the syntax that is not expecting it, so this one requires a power function like this maybe, and then it's going to just do that. And if I do it to the power of 8, it's going to say 256. And to the power of 10 would be 1024. So all of those ones are done as the syntax is requiring it. So if I just do that, divide by, let's say, 10, then automatically I get the value times 2 is a different number, because this number is done first, then this one is done second, and so on. And if you decide to just incorporate the calculation using the BC already that is built in, you're welcome to do that one, as long as your code does not break with other things, and then you know when to pass it on. Because like, for example, let's say you're doing 5.5 plus 2, this is going to give you that number, but if you're doing multiplication, it is also give you the right result, 2.5, and then so the basic calculator is going to do okay. If I just say here, say echo, or maybe within the expression, say expression 2 plus 2, and then just get that one, it's going to do that. But notice if I just do it at the command line, 2.5, doing that one, it's not going to understand that one because it is just a problem. So then I could say, pass it on to a basic calculator, to a BC. Let's see, 2 plus 5. I think the dot is, and this one is misunderstood. Let's see if non-integer argument 2. Yeah, so this one you don't do this because you say echo this statement 2 plus 5, and then pass it on to basic calculator like that. So this whatever you do the calculation, if it is like a 2-digit number, 2.9, let's say, it is going to know it as long as you pass it to the basic calculator correctly. Some of the functionality that is there, if I'm just doing multiplication, and then if let's say something is failing because the order I did not do it correctly, and then as a result, like for example, let's say -5 here, obviously this is going to do the multiplication first because I'm still using the BC there. So if you did the calculation using expression or using this symbol of echo, let's say $, 2 plus 5, 2 plus 5, and then I say command not found, $, that would do it. So depending on the syntax, what you want to pass on, you could do these kind of things, whether you do the backtick or echo or use the basic calculator. The options is yours. And then when you get into basic calculator here, if you just put some argument that are not there, and then say, for example, 7 do this, it's going to give you error. Some garbage I put in, it's not going to understand it. So you could do a case statement or your calculator, say case the $ argument is this that does those function. So add for addition, multiplication. Any other case, just echo 0. As simple as that. So it doesn't matter what the user gave as input. You could always say that if I don't understand it, just echo 0. Whether they type in QI or Q or L something, it just echo 0. And this one, you could see, like, for example, if I say while read var, I could say something like this. Say while read line, and then enter do, say echo $line, and then done. So at this time it's waiting for me. Remember that I was pressing 2, it just gave me 2 back. 5, 5 back. 6, 6 back. So that this is like almost your the input statement that you're opening a interface for the user to give input. So if I just say 2 plus 4, it's not going to do that calculation, but it's going to say 2 plus 4 was given. So that line already has that number of argument I pass it. If I just say, let's say 5 times 10 plus 20 plus power of, let's say you did handle power as a function, whatever I type in here is going to print it, but because I use the statements of somewhere a star here, it just also printed out all the files in addition to the content. So if I wanted to do the same thing, if I just, every time I do a star, it's going to just do like a while read star from my current directory. So instead of doing that one, I could say 5 and then backslash a star, meaning that don't interpret it that one, plus 20 plus pow, and then 2 comma 3, and then that would still print it because of the star is on a wildcard understood there. So the easy way to take care of that one, put this while read var into the argument, and then just translate this one to a different string. Let's see if it does with 5 times star like this plus 5. Yeah, so I could just give that input into a single code, and it is going to understood, and that one is there. Then when you read this one, you just say, okay, when the multiplication is entered, I'm just going to parse out this character from it. So let's assume I do that. How do I do that? Control C out of this. I say while read var do, and then I say, let's say the user is putting something with this kind of expression. I say, I read that one into a variable, like let's say, I'm going to say x is equal the variable, and then put this variable inside here. X is equal, and then put x times 5, and then code. Now if I just say equal $x, my variable has that value, but somehow I need to take this one out. So now if I just enter x echo, I'm getting this value, and I just want to say this is my, let me just change that one to a number also, like 1, 11, 12. 12 and times 5, so echo $x. You could do that one, and then if the argument, since it is giving it as input like this, it will also read it there. It is not going to just understand this one that you have to parse it, $x. It actually does with the asterisk, right? So let me try this. Let's see if I could do, yeah. So that one is, you can skip it like that, or you can skip it like this. Sorry, like this. You can do it. So now if I just say look at the value x and lowercase x, and then it has that one, then I could just say I'm going to get 3 arguments here. So I could say echo $sign and x while read a var, and then say do. At this time, I'm going to parse that one into 3 different arguments. I say of arg1 is equal, and then I could say echo $sign var, and then I could just do an awk on it, print $1, $1 would be there, or I could do a cat using either one of them is fine. $1, now this one is $sign argument 1, and then arg2 is equal, same thing, echo $sign var, and then at this time I'm going to do awk print $sign 2, but then I want to just get only the asterisk, the operator. So in this case, I'm going to do cut minus delimiter, and then the delimiter in this case is single quote. Single quote is this. Let's see if I could do the single quote within the single quote as the delimiter, and then dash F1, F2 actually, because I want to get rid of the first single quote, then pipe it again, say cut minus D, and then the second delimiter. I could do that, and then second delimiter is this, and this time I'm going to get a field 1. And then I close my backtick, and then arg3 is equal echo $sign var awk of $sign print $sign 3. Remember those $1, $2, $3, or the number of arguments separated. By default, of awk, you don't do the IFS field separator, and by default is space. So that's why I'm not putting anything there. Otherwise, you could do like a colon if you're reading the shadow file or password file, or just leave it blank if it is a space. So then in this case, I'm doing a backtick here. And notice I forgot a backtick here. So this is gonna just error out when I run it. Because I started the backtick here, I should have closed it like this here. And then I started this one, I closed it here. This one, I forgot this one, so it's gonna fail on this arg1 argument. But I could do this. Before I do this, done, I'm gonna just say echo $sign arg1, echo $sign arg2, echo $sign arg3, and then I'm gonna say done. But before I do that, since it's gonna fail, I'm gonna just save this one as a thing so I can modify it. And if I want to write it in a script, it's much easier to do it. So at this time, it run this echo statement with while read is gonna fail, but I'm going to, yeah, because it's closing on that backtick, it does not know where the backtick is. So I'm gonna stop it here, and then go back here, and then just add on a backtick on the first statement. Where's that first argument? Where's my arg1? Right here, arg1, and then I'm going to say backtick here, backtick. And then now I press enter, it should run it. And notice that the cut delimiter must be a single character. So it did not understand this thing. So let me just go VI t.sh. I'm going to temporarily create it and then write this information in a script. So I could just modify the script easily. I'm going to delete these lines and then say x is equal, and then I'm going to declare, was it 12 times, times. You can always make it easier on the number of arguments, how you do it. And instead of this double code, you could put a thing that you could parse it out easily. But let's just take the hard way and see if we can do it. So now this is single quote there. And then I'm going to put here, say, / user ben env and then bash. So it knows it's a bash script. And get rid of all these codes. So in order to get rid of those ones, I say 1 comma $ substitute, and vi you can say substitute that to nothing and then get rid of it, and then there's already indentation that's good enough to do this, and then run it, but it's gonna just fail, and it fails because of this indentation with this, with the limiter of that. So I'm gonna try this, because when your indentation is already having the single quote, you are doing it with double quote around it to know that this is my delimiter, not the three of them together. Sometimes in Python and bash scripting, you're using single quote and then inside double quote, it understands. If you use single quote and then single quote, like I'm doing here, sometimes it gets confusing. So I'm going to change this one to double quote here. And then that argument inside here is good. And then here I already used double quote. I could test that. So now if I just say, since the bash script is not executable, I have to do a bash t.sh on there. So end of file expected vi t.sh, and my first statement right here, the end of file, I forgot the backtick to put it here again. So this is going to fix that end of file. Line 8 was expecting a back tick, and then I did not put it, and then end of file reached, so that's why it says that. Bash t.sh now is going to say that, and then the star, when I'm saying the echo star, is just going to do that one. So it worked, but except the echo or print statement, whatever I use there, I just need to do, instead of this, I'm going to say echo this, and then let me put it within the code, and so I'm showing you a number of ways that you can do this. To see what is the better way, we will look at it together. So right now you could see that because I coded it, it printed out there. So let's look at it, cut minus n t.sh, and you can see the script is basically putting storing some expression into a variable x, then it's parse it, and it knows that, okay, the argument that was passed on, 12 was the first argument, and the second argument, and so on. You could just say arg1 or $1. And in this case, that would be the number of arguments. And then if you want to just get a lot of them, bit.sh, let's say, I could just get this information from the user. I don't have to hard code it in my script. So let's do that one and say, we could say, for example, echo minus c, please press enter any expression. So this is going to be asking the user to write an expression, and then you read the expression into, and instead of this, you say read expression. So whatever variable that you define, you say read my expression. You could just define that one, and then that now is going to read it, and then the value that is passed on, it will be on the my expression. So then you say for echo my expression, and then do this. So let's just give the same expression again, because we already said the format is this for the second field. If we did that one and say bash t.sh, and it says please put an expression, then I say 12 times 5, and then that one is going to do exactly how it was there in the number of arguments. And then if we want to calculate on it, bi t.sh, basically you could just say it was 5 times 12, let's say 5 times 12, and then you just say echo and $ arg1 times let me see, echo. I'm gonna do echo and between quotes, and I'm gonna say $ arg1, and it's good to just have those ones into braces. I'm going to change that one, all of that. So echo $arg1 times not times, actually $arg2, $arg2, and then $arg3, and then you just say pipe this one to a basic calculator, so you know that the floating point numbers, everything is done correctly. If you do that one, now I'm assuming that the first argument is always in that format, that I expected it multiplication or addition or something is put there, but this is only with 2 arguments. So we will just expand it with number of arguments based on the expression that is passed on. And then we use the for statement, and we could do at arguments and pound, $pound arguments, right? So here, let's try first a simpler example with those 2 variables, and then you can add on to it. And then now I'm going to just say every time they give a second argument, the second argument is an operand. So rather than doing arg2, I make it, I'm sorry, the second argument is always operator. So, and instead of arg2, I'm going to call it operator. Substitute 1 comma $, substitute arg2 to braces arg2, and then the reason I'm putting braces because I'm going to change the other ones as well. So now those ones are $arg2, but you know on the first argument you don't need to do braces here. Every time you call it, you just use braces. Similar to that one, I'm going to do these other ones, arg1, arg3, and arg1, arg3. So I'm going to find out the line number. Escaping Control G will give you the line number on that one. So right here, escape Control G, line 16. And then at the end is Control G is, let's see one thing. Escape Shift G. Yeah. So I'm going to do set and U. It's faster this way. I know 12 to 16. So I'm going to say 12 comma end of file, which is line 16, substitute arc1 to braces arc1 braces, and then actually rather than doing arc1 arc3 next time, yeah, I could say let's see if I could do the regular expression. I say arc1, let me use another brace, and this arc1 or 3 and then substitute it to oh my god, I have to use a different symbol completely. This one is better because I need a bracket and parentheses. So I'm going to substitute arc to 1 or 3 to arc to brace arc followed by 1 or 3 and followed by brace, and then followed by globally. Actually, it just put it in correctly with this one. So I'm going to undo that one, undo this, and then change it one at a time. 12 comma $ substitute arc1 to brace arc1. That would do it for sure for that one, and then I need to do for arc3. 12 comma $ substitute arc3 to brace arc3. Because I have already the $, I don't need to do anything there. So that those ones are doing that things. So now arc2 is I wanted to change arc2 to operand. So 1 comma $ substitute arc2 to I want to change it to operator operation, whatever operation, addition, multiplication, or something. Let me call it operator, and then operator, and then that would do it, and substitute it. So let's just call it here right now, read the expression, and then a multiplication is going to just do the calculation on here with that operator, and we get the result. So I say bash t.sh is going to say enter the expression 12 times. I'm going to try the same syntax that earlier did. So 5 times 12 is 60. It did the calculation. This time I'm going to say 12 times, let's say another number, 12, 144. Let's see if it gets, yeah, under 44. So that one works. Let's say if I just do same thing with 12 plus 12, that should give you 24. And since the basic calculator knows that one, all I'm doing is that one, this is called overloading in C++ or Java or other object-oriented programming. Operator overloading is that all you're doing is that in the t.sh, you're basically overloading this operator with multiple faces. One times it does the multiplication, one times does addition, one time subtraction, and everything. But then notice that if you're doing division, the arc3 cannot be 0. So then you're on your functions, you have to do if then else statement. Say if this is, second argument is 0, then it cannot be there. So let's just do that part there, vi t.sh. So you could just say, for example, here, if $, arc3, the third argument is equal 0, and first you have to check if the argument operator is equal this. You could do a combination of both in one shot. You could do a if statement with if $ operator is equal this, then check for the number of arguments. The argument 3 is there, or you could do a and symbol here and then do another if condition matching with both. So let me try the first one there. Say if $ operator is equal, and then we just use the symbol this, because that's the division there. If that's equal that, so and then this way, because this one I'm gonna do comparison of strings, so I have to match this string versus this string, and then the equal sign is going to do the comparison. Then say if $, arc equal this, then say echo. So this if statement has to be nested under this, and then check this one under this, and say then say echo minus e, the value of the denominator cannot be 0. You could say echo, and then you entered and the $arc3 for it, and this one I would just say you enter 0 for it. So let me just do that. For it, and then close this one with new line characters with backtick. So this one, if that is the case, then you just are going to say exit or break out of the loop. It's your choice how you want to continue with it or not. That's there. And if that's the case, then do this, and if I otherwise, if the operator is there, divide and this one, and then in either case, if the operator is equal that, you could check for that one and then exit out, and then otherwise you just compute it. Doesn't matter what the operator is if it was good. So when you're out of this loop, if it was not 0, it's going to do the operator syntax that you wanted to do. And then so let's say we just want to test a few things. So here t.sh, we say that run it. Oh, I am going to change the permission 755 t.sh, so that way I could run t.sh like this. And then it says let's make sure that every time you do an update, make sure that your original code is working. So that one failed. It says line 24 matching double quote. Somewhere I have some kind of missing arguments with double quote. So the way you fix that one, you VI the file and then go to line 24, see if it is obvious that somewhere it is done. It's not obvious. So we close this FS statement here and then end it up here. But now I'm going to look at the operators to see what is the equal sign. So I'm going to look for double quote here. Double quote, I started off here, finish it here, open here, finish it there, open here, finish it here. This one is extra right there. So now I have everything else okay. The code should run. Clear the screen. Just do the same thing with the t.sh this way, and it's going to ask me for the expression. Say 12 and then times 5. It gives me the 60. I run it again, and this time I say 12 divided by, and then say 5. Let's say 12 divided by 2. It should give me 6. So it works, and then I just do the same thing. This time I'm gonna give a different input with 0 on the bottom. Change mode to 7. Oh, sorry. Run it here, and 12, and then divided by 0. And then right away it says runtime error function main 6 divided by 0. Did it actually caught my error? No. It just the system found out that it was divided by 0 was put together. Let me see why it did that one. So vi t.sh. The reason it did the disregard, we're executing this command. Okay, so this is if this is the division, and we're just exiting out. The statement should be right here as an else part, right? And so the else part is going to work only if equal this, and then we need to do this else. Okay, so I want to just execute the echo statement only once, but if the operator is not divisor, do this. You could say something like this. So if this is not divisor symbol, then execute it. Otherwise, you want to just do this one on the else part of this, and then say right here I say else, and then paste that here. Move this one from here. I'm sorry, escape. Move this one dd by copying it and pasting it here, and then just put it under else part here. So else, and does this. And let me just move this one under the then, and this one under then, and this one under exit. So at this time we say if it is a not equal thing, if not division, then most likely other operator could be just done without any error, anything to be done. But if it is division, then it's going to check if the argument is equal 0, then it's going to exit out, else is going to compute it. So let's try that number first. And again, clear the screen, and t.sh 12 times 10, that's 120, and then that works. And then I'm going to try t.sh and give 12 divided by 6 is 2. That works. And then I'm going to try the 12 and divided by 0. Now our program works. it did not give the error, the value of the denominator cannot be 0, and therefore you enter the 0 for it, and then it exits out successfully. So how you parse it, yes, there's only 2 arguments. Let's just do that part to give you an idea of, it is not important how you just read the variables and how you parse it. It is just how you handle the number of expression with the user. So if you expect the user to put this input into like backtick on your code, then you should maybe make a comment on your argument, say the operand should be like this. But if you say, let me just do this, if I just take that one, let me just okay, copy this t.sh to t1.sh. I want to just work on that t, leave the t for your future. I could post it for you. And this one, let me make this changes on this one. So I'm not going to expect anything for the user to be added. They could just type in the argument as it is. So that's argument 2, and then that's there. So they don't have to put single code in there. Let's see if that works first. And then clear the screen and then do a ./t1.sh. I'm just saying 12 times 5. It is going to be an error because asterisk is going to be interpreted. So now it looked at the these directory structure, CIS star, see? So it tried to understand that one as a star meaning something. So I could do pi t.sh, t1.sh. So let's look at it, say where it is actually failing, that one. The expression, when we're reading it, it is giving the expression. The user may type in that one, read. It is, if I just say echo and then $, my expression, and then exit out. So I don't want to do further calculation, just want to see how when the user is putting 12 times 5, sorry, clear the screen, t1.sh, 12 times 5, you see that the way we're reading it, head minus 5, t1.sh. The way I'm reading it, let me do clear the screen, run this one, 12 times 5, and then I'm going to say head minus 8, t1.sh. So you see that as soon as I'm just doing this one, I read it and then I print it, and because I'm doing it within code, it's not a problem. So let's see when we are not exiting out t1.sh, there's some issue here. So I'm just not going to print this one. I'm not going to print this one, but I say, okay, while this echo, I'm going to put this one within the code, $ expression, while read, it reads it, and the echo $2. $2 has the argument, and then operator. So it gets it from there as a $2, and okay, so we get that one operator, and then echo $ operator. Before I do this one, since I'm inside the loop, I wanna do this right here. Say echo $0. So this is the time that you're getting into more environment variables and the number of arguments and the number of outputs and everything. I'm going to show you that one here before I exit out of this. This is going to show me the name of the program, echo the name of the script, and then is, and then do this. So I'm gonna say minus E, and then instead of this, I'm going to say name is equal, and then backtick base name and $0. That would disregard to, if I use absolute path, it will still say the path. So I could do this one above this line, and then this line here, and I could just say in name of the script is, and then $ name. So that would print out the $ name, and then the same thing, I could just cut and paste here and say the number of arguments passed, the number of arguments passed were and $pound. So $pound by default, I don't have to say there, but it makes it more easier for your code to receive. You could just say a number of args, and then a number of args is here, and number of args, you define it here, number of args is equal, and then $pound. $pound. So array of args, let's say, I'm going to say A for array args is equal $@ symbol. $@ symbol. And then, so that one is there, and then all arguments, total of arguments is equal $pound. This one, and then $ question mark, at this time you don't need it, $ status. So I say status, status is equal $ question mark. And then and here you could just say, for example, number of arguments. So in number of arguments is there, you could just check for number of argument first. So if you say if and $ number of arguments, number of arguments args is less than let's say 1 2 3 less than 3 or 4, you could just say, so let me just do 3, see if it reads the first 3 operand there. And rather than saying this, you could say define a $ max. So $ max is defined here, and then how many argument you pass on, it is basically it is red on here, $ number of arguments. So number of arguments, if it $ pound is less than max, if less than max, and max is something that you're reading from the command line, or you'll just assign it. If max is equal $@ then it's good. But what if the at is blank and that they don't provide it? So you're just saying, let's say I'm going to do it 3. If $ max is 3 argument that has to be passed on, then I say if it's less than 3 argument, then call a usage function. Remember, I was asking you to write a usage function. So then you say usage, and then right here you say exit. So and then fi. So if the user is not giving you enough, how the usage function is there, say function, you could say function usage this, or you just don't use the word function, it's still the same. So you say function, you start something here. This syntax or just using this syntax would be the same. So put the function, it's nicer. And then the name is function, then I'm calling it here. So you could say pound call the usage function. So when you're doing here, on this one, you could say, you could use printf statement or f statement or any echo statement, anything you want to do in here, you're welcome to do it. And the syntax with the printf statement this is similar to C and C++ and Bash, except that you don't have to put parentheses around the starting. So percentage %s and then the string that you want to print put in, and then maybe tabs here, one tab and then two tab. So that's the name of the base name, followed by a space tab, and then followed by I'm gonna just say a percentage. That would just say the word usage, and then after that one is another percentage, and that would be the argument 0, name, percentage, and then followed by percentage s, first argument, percentage second argument, and percentage third argument. And then let's see if we just made it enough for it. So here I'm going to say first one is I'm going to put the word usage, and then the next argument is $ name, and the name of the script, and then followed by the arg1, arg2, and arg3. So I'm going to say arg1 operator, and then followed by arg2. So 3 arguments there, and they're all coded. So that's there, and then do a new line character right after this, so it's there, and then just copy this line again, this time, and instead of usage, you're going to change the word example, and so the user knows the name of the script, and then this one would be 12 times 5, and then do that one. And then a second example, just so they know that it's working for multiple operands, you could do a plus, and then third division, and division by 6, let's say, and then a subtraction, -6. So this is copied there, and then a number of arguments is there, and then your statement is there, function, and then that's it. For that part is going to check the number of argument is less than max, call usage. At this time, if we want to just go to the next argument, the number of arguments we already passed on from $ pound, and then we want to print that one, number of arguments, and then the other one we call it an A for array of argument, and T for total arguments. So let's print out those ones also. We say YYP, and then this one, the number of argument passed, and the array of arguments passed for and then I call it array of arguments, and then this one we call it total number of arguments. The total number of arguments passed. And this is not the total in number, like how many were there, and all the arguments. So I could just say all, because I used A for array, I used T for total. All arguments passed were on this, and so total argument. And then before we do any calculation, we're going to exit out first and see how it works for the function in this. So if I just vi t1.sh, I want to do one more thing on the top of this. I could just clear the screen before I do anything, and I could do it even before the read statement. So I'm going to do a clear, so it does fresh screen. I run the t1.sh here. It's going to say, please enter your expression. So I say 12 times 5. And then it says usage t1.argument operator argument. So at this time, it does not understood because the argument that was passed already with this argument was not part of the read statement. So that means that the expression I'm putting it, I have to do 12 times 4 like this. And then it's going to still expected me to write it 12 times 4. So the read statement is not doing what I want to do. So let me just correct that part. Vi t1.sh, the number of argument passed for 29. All of that information is coming inaccurate because I'm doing a read statement on the expression when the read statement should have been already passed on to the expression. So read my expression. I'm not going to do another read here. And then instead of reading that one, I put my expression is equal $at. $at is the $a args is already pointing that one. So let me move this one up there, and then sorry, on $args. So yy of dd of this one, and put it right after this, because now I have the add to number of arguments $. I mean, I could just put that variable there. I don't have to redeclare it, but I just name it here args, so I'm just going to use that. And then now I have the value of add to args. I'm putting it into my expression. Let's see if it passes on the argument there. So when I just say the if statement, if argument is equal 1, less than max, then call the usage function. And the usage function is going to be called before that one. So this is statement 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 statements, 6 dd from here, and put it above the function print. So this is going to check, and if a number of arguments, then it's going to call the usage function. Let's see if the function is going to be the prototype. If sometimes you do it, is going to recognize it. Say yeah, so it works correctly, and then oh, I'm running the other one. Sorry. Usage on line 21, usage command not found. 1 second, I need to turn on the lights The room is really dark. I have been talking. I just need a quick break. Can we take a 10 minutes break so I could just get some water also, and then we resume in 10 minutes. It's 8:18 already. Okay, everyone? We're going to take a 10-minute break. I'm going to pause it for now, the recording, and then we just resume in 10 minutes. I need to turn on the lights. Stop recording. We just pause it. Okay, so I'm back. I hope you are back also. I'm going to resume with this part where it says line 21. The reason it is happening, that one is, as I told you, the function prototype has to be declared first, and then the if statement is going to check after. So in this case, since the if statement is before the function, it does not work that way. So I'm going to correct it here, t1.sh. And all these lines that are here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 line. 6 line, I'm going to move them 6 dd, and it's going to be right after this. The function is defined. In C programming language, you have a function main. Inside the main, you call the functions that are defined, but normally you don't have to define them before the main. You could do a prototype and then that's all it needs. In Bash scripting, you have to write the function first and then make the call afterward. So this call would have not worked if you call it in front of the function when it is not defined. It would say usage not found. That's why that error is showing. It's good that we caught that one at the time, but it is good to learn that mechanism. So if you're familiar with C or Java or other ones, once you write your main function, inside your main function, you could call any other function and then pass argument to that function and come back to the main. And then the functions doesn't have to have the body of the function when you are before the main. It has to have a prototype before the main. Here you have to have the body to define the function. So here I'm just doing this, and then also earlier we did not have a function. We were writing this echo statement to get the argument from this. Now we don't need this one, and even if we do it, we have to move this one below the function. Once the argument is correct right here, then we are going to execute the code. So at this time, if I just save it and then clear my screen and then do a cat minus n t1.sh, it is 63 lines, but you can see the way it works is basically it's going to look for the number of arguments passed on, and as a result it executes. So let me just run it without any argument, see what it says. So it gave me a usage if I don't give any argument. Usage t1 and $sh is the name, arg1 operator, arg2, and then it gave me examples how I wanted to run it. And then if I just want to do it with multiple argument, let's say I'm going to give 2 arguments, still gonna give me this. 3 argument, second argument, it actually was not enough, the max. So this one was there, and then this, and then less or equal is the would have been 3, but less than 3 is 2. So it's going to execute this one with that one. But if I just do a plus here, it knows the number of arguments that are passed on. Because the asterisk, this is the difference. So the asterisk, if I just do any other addition, it's still going to say not enough argument. Like I do subtraction, it's not enough. But asterisk is not going to be, because it's going to interpret it as a wildcard So if I just do this one, it says, oh, you pass in all these arguments as your input. There are 29 arguments. Your name of the script was this, and then the number of arguments are these. It's going to give me that, but I want to just skip that one. Now it tells me that I'm not putting enough argument. But if I just put another number there, it is and I pass on these arguments. It is just basically not when it is enough, it is just going to be okay. So T1.sh, and then I pass on that argument, and number of argument is okay. If I do this with addition as operand, it's the same thing. Since I'm putting enough argument, it understands it, right? And the only one that is different is the multiplication, that I have to just do skip it. If I do this one within code, it's gonna still understood that one. So the asterisk is going to be something when I'm passing it on, I have to pass it with that argument. Notice that when I do the asterisk with this, it understood that the argument that were passed on this, the single quote does not matter. So I could do something like this, single quote 12, and then a single quote multiplication, and then single quote 15. It still is going to say 12 times 15 as the argument that was passed. And if I just change that one to $arg1 or $1 is pointing to that, and then I could use combination of single quote and single quote and double quote with this. As long as I started with single quote, I have to close it with single quote. If I start with double quote, I have to do that. It's still going to understand this syntax, and if I just do the negation, subtraction, it will do the same thing. And then notice that with subtraction, addition, and multiplication, the input is still, I don't have to put it within the code. But with asterisk, I have to put it within the code to just make sure that I'm not doing interpolation on the $sign this. So if I say echo $sign, that's going to just show me all the command lines similar to this. Okay. And then, so now if I just want to pass on this argument with a number of arguments, let's say the way it shows is the number of the $0 is this, and then the number of arguments passed were $pound 3, $pound is equal 3. The array of argument passed were 12 times this. So this is the actual $star, and this is $at. I'm sorry, the first one is at, and then the second one is $star. And I'll show you the difference between them. One is that you have access to the entire array. You can print one at a time. The other one, you print it there. So let me show you that part first before I do the calculation. So now if you do same thing with what we did here, let's see, right here. I'm going to show you the difference. Say echo the array of arguments is shown below. So right here, I could say I'm going to do another echo statement to differentiate a couple of echo. So this is completely example of, let me just say example of example of the array of argument that's shown below. So here I'm going to say for I and dollar sign number of AA args. This is the array args do, and then I say echo the arg was. I'm going to do a dollar sign I, dollar sign I, dollar sign I, followed by a new line, and then close it and say done. And then the same thing, I'm going to copy this line 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 statement for YY and paste it here. And then I'm going to say for let's say J, doesn't matter what argument you use, and then a total argument. And then this one, I'm going to say the same thing, but notice the difference of the output. I'll show you the difference for the output. Even though I'm printing exactly the same thing, watch the output, how it is shown up there, and that's the difference. So now I'm running the command with this input. It says, let me just not put the asterisk. I'm going to put a plus. Okay, the plus is not interpolated, so it is T1 is there. As argument, number of argument was 3, 12 plus 5, 12 plus 5. So now I'm saying example of array of argument is shown below. And then that one is actually, the first one is the array of argument. I needed to put another statement there to just differentiate between the two, J and this. So let me just say example of this. I'm gonna say 3 YY, and then right there after this one give a space, and then say example of a string array, a string of arguments, strings of arguments, a string of argument is shown below. And then this one now it's going to be different, so I'm going to pass it on the same argument here I did. Notice that this one, it says the number of arguments that is passed. The first item was 12, the second item was plus. I'm going to do the new line also. So new line was not interpreted correctly. bit1.sh. And so why in the new line is because minus e is missing here, minus e. And that's for J, and then we need to do this minus e. So the expression echo, and whenever you use tabs and everything else, tab and new lines, you have to do minus e there with echo statement to just get it there. Sorry about that. So run it again with the same plus symbol, and so this one is printing it into variable because I'm forcing it with the echo statement. With the echo statement, I'm forcing it. I'm going to print a good example would be as if we could just print this one. Okay, and let me just do this. Echo dollar sign at. We know that that one is everything, and then here we just print out dollar sign star. Um, I'm gonna try to put this one into a code. It does not actually matter if you code it or not, because the variable still has that value, but the only difference is that array is is the array, and then the other one is all stored into one. If I cannot show you on this one, maybe this is not a good example. Let me see if I could show you. Yeah, it is not a good example on this one. $12 plus of 15 is the total argument. What I could do is store that one into variables and do a different way to print it from the variable. But you get the idea that both of them are pointing to the entire array, and one of them is iterable and the other one is not. $* is not, $@ is. The way I'm doing with the echo statement is basically because I'm doing it within the echo here with the new line characters, it automatically forces it to put it into new line. So let me just do this. I do just $arg. I think this might be a better example. $I, and then in this one I'm going to do it with just that $J, and yeah, this might show it. One iterable, the other one is not. Let's see. .t1.sh. Let me just run it like it is. It still is showing in different echo statement, iterable versus not iterable. And then when you do it like this, it's also showing the entire array of this. But just get my word for it, and when you actually are looking at some other example, you will experience the situation that when you're going to $@ and that one you could iterate through the entire loop. Oh, I could show you. Let me just do this. vit1.sh. It just occurred to me how I could show you an example of that. So right here, I could say, let's say this $, arg sub 0 sub a $I, $I, and then print it. This would just say for each one of them, we'll print it to that argument, and then do the same thing here with this, and instead of I, we print out the index of J. It may just not understand the J, or if it does, it is going to repeat the same thing. So in this case, I'm going to use total args, and then the other one args for array. Let's see if yeah, so the first one, like I said, is going to do it. The second one, because that's not iterable, it says operand expected error token plus example of a string array is shown below. It does actually print it with that format, but then the token is not iterable because that one is coming as an index and it's not going to print it that way. So the only way I could print it if I just print the whole string, and that is doesn't have any index. The other one had an index. This one is I is the index of it. So arg sub 0 is the first argument, arg sub 1 is the second one, and so on. And here, since it's not iterable, this is a good example to show that this will break. You could print the J or args. It will just print the full arguments. In this case, it's not iterable, so you could just only print out $J, and then $J would print out that $arg is the same thing. But it's gonna just break it into smaller if you print the $J, and that's not what I want. Let's see, yeah, it will break it into smaller. Here, this one, syntax error 48. Line 48 is syntax, so 48. This one is array of, and that one. You're printing array of this one. I'm going to do that, and then I could even use this one at add symbol, because I know that our add array is there. Let me try that one, add sub I, $I, and then $I is passed on to that. Like that. I put the code right after. I want to put it right here, then here, and then close it. That would do it. So that is just showing the array index of sub I of it, and since it has an index, it will print it. This other one, it is printing the sub j, which I don't want to do it that way. I could just print this, which is having the entire string. So this for statement, since it's not iterable, you don't want to do that. And the example of array 12, this one, it printed out 12, 15, array of 12 plus, and then 15. Yeah, so when I was doing the $I, and instead of actually printing it, I get the value of it and there. For the first one is 12, second is plus, and then the third one is 15. That way it shows you exactly for each of the add. Since I'm doing $add as well as the index of it for each one of them, which order it's coming. So let me just vi t1.sh and then go back to this argument of not printing anymore, and the echo the number of arguments is there. So we did the number of arguments, and in this add symbol, we want to comment this line out at this time, or just leave it so that way we could see the output differently every time we pass on different argument. So this is okay, but and instead of exit this time, we're gonna do that. So now I have the my expression. See if my expression as the actual argument passed on to it. My expression is commented out here, my arguments. That one is argument. I'm gonna just say also assign the number of arguments to $@ $@ to that one as well. So it puts it into variable my expression. I could work on the rather than my expression, I could use the at array, so I don't need to declare my expression. And this one is already defined, AAR. So my expression, I'm going to say $AAR. That one is there. This one I don't need to do it anything. I'll leave it in blank. And then AAR is defined here, and then it's used here, and it's used here, and right here, and there. So let's see if we could run same argument, and then obviously if we code it here, the addition is still working, as you can see, and the multiplication is there. So this examples that we did, we don't have to define it. If I just say this, it's gonna just give me a syntax saying that you need to provide more argument. But if I just say, let's say 12 plus 1, it's gonna say 13. And whether I put it within code or don't put it within code, it's gonna work. And then, so if I just try this one with another number and then just change this one to minus, and it's gonna work, and then times, it's gonna work. As long as the times is just the operand that I want. Since I did not understood that this, I'm going to double code it first to see if the multiplication is recognized. It did not, so I'm going to do this asterisk, and it's still not working because the asterisk, the star is just doing the entire word of echo $star. Echo star is doing the CIS 12. It's looking at the files. So in order for me to just parse this one, notice if I just do this, it's going to look for these other variable. And let's see if I put all of them into variable. So it understood everything else, but the star means it picked up all the files from the machine with the wildcard. So somewhere in my script, when I did it, it just says, okay, you did give 3 arguments, which was first name was the $0, number of argument is these 3, $1, $2, 3, and these are the argument that you passed on. But when I'm doing the calculation, somehow the echo statement was just doing $ number of AARs into all these variables because it means a star. So I have to just somehow say escape that one from a star and then translate it to a multiplication symbol. So that part needs to be corrected right here. And everything was okay up to a point that I was doing echo $, this one. So these echoes I did not understood because the one of the argument at the argument was just doing a star. So I have to say that skip the star there, and I could do this, say, put it into some argument, and then I already put it into argument. So let me just comment these lines. I don't need to print out. I know that it's doing asterisk. So I'm going to comment these lines. And VI, once you comment one line, you could do a dot, it would automatically add the same thing, the next line that you want to just comment. So I'm going to comment this line and come back here. This echo $arg is going to have the asterisk, and then asterisk is going to be echoed with and that code, and then while read var, this is still going to calculate the operator to 2, and this is when I just need to do that interpolation of the operator from a double code to this. So in this case, I'm going to do something here like I did before to make sure that the second argument is parsed correctly from multiplication to this. You could even use a different symbol if you want to do the multiplication differently, but normally people put the asterisk. So I'm going to do say cut minus D. I'm going to say double quote and then single quote. Let's put it within the single quote, the asterisk. This minus F2. I could even just say it, do it in one shot, get the asterisk and then only. I could, or just do it with the backtick and do that. So get the first field and then second field. So the first one is there, and then cut minus D again, the second field. This time I'm gonna pick up field 1 for it, and that would give me the asterisk. And everything else is all right already. So let's save it and then run it again with same input that we did here. So that is still bomb out. And if I do this one, it works. 12, 1, and 12 plus, it works. And then 12 divide by 11 also works. And then 12 divided by 12 also works. And 12 divided by 6 also works. Okay, and then what about 120 divided by 6? Should be 20, okay. So it works with everything else, and if I just do a 0 here, it should say you're not allowed to divide, put the denominator to 0. So that works except the multiplication. So on the multiplication, if I just do anything with even a multiply by 0, which should be the value should be 0, it's not going to do it because it just thinks that, okay, I'm going to do the operation. And before I cash into the operator part, when I pass it on, somewhere else is getting the asterisk here. So name of argument is there, that is fine, 120, 10, and right there, so my argument was 120 times 0, and then 10 is printed. Line 69. So let's look at the line 69 of the script. Line 69 is most likely on the echo statement of this. If $argument3 is equal 0, that's not the one. I think the problem is right here, $args. $args is there. I want to just parse the second argument to match out before I echo it. And you don't have to do this while read statement here. You could already know it. The reason I'm doing a while read statement because later on you could just do as many arguments as there. You just pass it on to number of argument into variables. That way you just have those variables, and based on the operator that they pass on, you calculate the variable accordingly. So let's see if we could just say, instead of this do this done, if number of arguments there echo $arg1, we could say don't echo it, it's already there into these arguments. So I'm going to just temporarily modify this script. So let me just copy t1.sh to t2.sh, vi t2.sh. I'm going to modify to just match out the part that we need. So in this case, I get rid of these extra garbage. We don't need to just have this many echo statement and all these things. We already expressed it. We are going to clean it up. This is good for coding that you just don't need something, just modify it, save it in another file, and just update it again. So in this case, rather than doing this echo statement, I want to just put it into a variable, and I say I already did this one right here on these arguments, so I'm gonna delete this line, and then on this line I'm going to just move it back here, and that's fine, and get rid of this done statement. I don't need it anymore, and this fi is there, done, and the rest of them are okay. So let's see if I could just say arg1, but what is var1? And instead of var1, I'm going to use $AARG. So that would print it into the first argument is there, and then second argument is this $AARG, and then third one. So now I have the value of it, arg. And then instead of doing that one, I could have already put the $2, an easy way to do it. But then I don't know if how many parameters are passed. So I could just do from the array that many arguments and just say, this is arg1, this arg2, this arg3. Otherwise, you could just do like this, say arg1 is equal $1, arg2 is equal $2, and then so on. You could do it as simple as that, pass it on. But then since you're just using it with an array, you could just pass on as many arguments as are there. And, but how do you know how many arguments are there is the number of arguments, $pound. So when that $pound is equal 5, then you have to do 5 arguments there, and then declare these ones. And then you could just go within a loop to do like I did the operators to get it. Let's just fix it for $1 and then make sure it works. You could always enhance it with updated ways to either loop it and pass it on to another argument and then shift it and then be done with it. So at this time we already have $args and $args2, and it might just still just echo the thing, because right here on this one, when we put asterisk, is gonna just fail, but this one should get it, because we're not echoing it ahead of time. And since it's echoing and then it filters it, before we were doing it within while read, it was echoing first, then it will go to a while read. And so let's see if we do the same argument that we ran last time. And instead of this, we're going to say T2. So T2, 120 divided by 0, it failed. And by 10, it's going to give you 10. By 0, it's going to fail because we said don't divide by 0. So if I just say that plus, it's going to just give me, sorry, I cannot type. It froze on me. Yeah, it's froze on me. So that plus this 120 plus 0 is actually divided by 0. Let's see, it does not understand the symbol. Yeah, so that's another problem. See, the multiple regression testing, and you know that also breaks when you just give this last number as $0, because I'm not doing a Boolean matching. I'm checking only for the third argument not to be 0. And so the operator could be minus, is still going to say that divide by 0, which I'm not doing it. So if I vit2.sh, let's fix that part. Now, like I was saying earlier, you could put this one within to statement, or it would break if you do it this way. So now in order to do this one, you say if this is there and the symbol is, so I'm going to just cut and paste this portion here, copy and then paste it here, and just do that one. If that's the case and that one is the case, then do this. So right here, and that's the part, and I don't need to do this for statement. So if that's the argument 3 is equal 0 and operator is equal a new line, then do this. And then otherwise you just do the other part. So now let's say we go and then we can move this one, this if statement, and the front here, and this closing it here, and then else is maybe else could be right here. That's fine. And then if I just run the same one with 0, this time with minus, and the value of this cannot be 0. So let's see, with 0, why is it just still failing? Because I did division, makes sense, but not addition. So addition will also cannot be 0. That's not good, so I'm going to fix that part now. vit2. So if this one is equal 0, now since we have multiple condition, we're gonna do, if this is the case and this is the case, then do that. So this is when you use 2 brackets. And if it is still an issue, you have to put the 2 Boolean operator into one big one, because it's going to check for this first, and I'm going to check for that. If that's the case, then it does that. So if the operator is, the operator is equal because it has to be equal to that, and then if the argument 3 is 0 and operator is equal and division, then you do that. So now we run it. It's going to work with the plus. It's going to work with the minus. And it's going to work with, it's not going to work with division, because we did say that, but then it is coming with a runtime error, not from our code. So let's see why it did not come out from our code. vit2.sh. if the number is equal this, if the number is equal this and the operator is equal this, so I'm going to put one more bracket here. If these two conditions are true, and this condition is true, then do it, and then so if this is the case, then do this, else calculate it, and then else calculate it. So I don't need the else part. After this is going to be, this part does not need to be done in this case, because we already check for validation of this. If the operator is this and that, and then it doesn't do it, else is going to just execute it. So we don't want to do that one again. Right here, this one needs to be commented out. So this is clear coding of two statement not being the same. 120 divided by 0, condition binary operand expected. Okay, I'm going to go modify it back and then get rid of these two because the other one was already doing it, and get rid of two of these, and then now it's okay. So this one, you run it with that, it just says divide by 0 is not allowed, but from the program, let's see, plus is working, minus is working, and then 2 is, I just did not give any proper operator. That's also good. And to test, so plus, and let's change this one to, should say 130. Okay. One more thing that I need to do on the division, it should say our script like it says before. Runtime error should not show up here. BI T2, and then if args equals 0 and operator is equals 0, and then do this. Somehow it's not understanding this. I'm going to make it like that, and this would be the entire operand. If this is the case and that is the case, both of those ones has to be true and true in order to return true. Let's see, T1, I did not understand it. Okay, I'm gonna try this. If that is the case and that's the case and that, so if it is operator has that equal sign. I'm already printing those values. Let me see if the values are accurate first. So 120 divided and 0. A runtime error. VI T1 T2. me just do this. The else part is getting executed for some reason and say echo yes. It does come out to the yes part. Disregard to it. Why doesn't it exit out? Let me check on that. It should exit out right here. The else part, this one is somehow is failing. $sign equals 1, then come into the else part. Operator is equal blank, or argument is equal blank. Let me try this or statement. That doesn't do it, but it should still yeah, it's just doesn't make sense that this one is with the or statement. If the operator is equals 0, or the or 3 is equals 0, or the other one of them, in this case is coming from the input that is not matching that one. So which one is it? Let me do this. Say number of arguments. I'm gonna put it within quote here, so I could see if there's some extra character there that's causing it to just have different value. Because when we compare it with equals 0, this one arg3 is equal 0, and then operator is the equal sign. So if I get within this code and within the brackets 0 and slash for the operator, then it's okay. Otherwise, it's going to just be an extra character there. 0 and 1. So and then the value of denominator cannot be 0. Let's see if I just say 1 there. Yeah, it does, yes. And then plus is 3 0. And then let me just change the operator here to minus. Yeah. So the or statement is not accurate. That's why I don't want to see it with minus. I want to see it with 2 in this. Equal sign. This one is and. Oh, I'm gonna do an and operator because I'm doing equality operators with this, and I think and is the right one to do it. The other one, ampersand is for Boolean operator matching. Let's see if I do. The word and is not recognized. Try one of them. This one is actually if a number of arguments. I'm gonna try to and do it the other way around. Let's see. I'm going to compare them like this. If $sign args equal this, and then say and $sign this is equal because here I'm doing a zero equal operator of that symbol, and then I'm going to check here with this equality if that's the case, or and that is the case, and then do this. Let's do this. This is okay. And I'm going to change the syntax of this one to $, a string of this one. 0 is equal the string of 0. And then instead of equal sign, dash equal dash eq, I'm going to put this equal sign. So I compare two strings in that sense, and then the other one is also a string, and run it this way. Okay, so this one is 0. It is doing okay with 0. Doing with plus. It is okay with plus, and then with division. What happened there? It's prompting me for multiple arguments. Oh, the division, this one slash. So this one is saying 120 divided by 0, yes. And on the division, it should just say around the opposite. So let me try this and then change this one to okay, I'm going to copy this and then use this symbol. First check for the and this, and then escape shift G and then copy this and then do the operator and then get rid of this. So if operator is equal slash, and then the operator is rather than operator, the arguments, the number of arguments, a args t is equal 0, 0, and then I'm going to just do the equal that doesn't matter. And so if that number is equal this, or that operator is equal that, is I think it is this one is recognized as a string rather than a operator in there. And then is a single character. That's not the same as the let's see if I could do that. The code works, but minus works. and then division is division. I'm going to use this symbol. Yeah, it actually works for the division of that number, but if I just do that's 10, it's going to be 12. That works also, except the 0 is going to give me runtime error, divide by 0 function, and it is not calling my function there, total arguments there, vit1.sh, t2.sh. See why it, so right here, it does this and it does an exit out because of the argument was 0. If this is the case, then do this and else, then look at it. It runs the operator, and if that's equal to 0, then does that one, it breaks out of the statement else, execute it, and the else part comes out through when the upper argument is there. Somehow this condition, the and symbol, is not matching with the previous one. Let's see what we could do is this one, put it here. I'm gonna say escape all, exit out of here before we even print this. Let's see if we could say echo. And then say F, and then the whole thing expression here. See what we get out of this F statement. F. Okay, there's one way here you could do it like this, and then print out that expression to see if that is going to give you a value, and then exit out. Let's see, here 0, and then the argument 0, 10, 112, 120, 0. Another way we could do is vi the file and change this part. Here, just don't do this and don't do this, and then right here I say set -x to see the debugging, what we get on that value. So t2.sh, it gets there. So operator is a \/ That's what the problem is. It is trying to escape that one and then echo 120 divided by 0 basically. So it is understood that as it's converting it. So if I use a plus symbol, it is operator is also for the plus symbol, and the operator is operators \/ so the operator is still coming out incorrectly as input. So if I just do a minus, it is there, operator \/ symbol. Okay, and then let's see one more thing, and then if I just do 10, the operator always +/-. Okay, so something is here is interpreting wrong. That's why the and symbol was not working. So the operator If I come back here, oh, if I operator is backslash, so I'm gonna have to skip that one, and then I put this one within code is fine. And I could do something like this. I'm going to say if it is slash forward slash, then do this, and then now let's see if it finds it. Okay, operator did not even catch up the operator one character because the way we pass it on. So the argument to the operator is missing here. Oh, operator is why this $sign operator is not having the value here. Oh, operator, I missed the A here, that's why. Operator is missed there. Always typo gets me there. So that was the problem. Operator now is not blank anymore. Operator, that's why it's easier to just use shorter name and like OP for operator rather than operator. That's a long word and you might have a typo like I did. And then right here is also operator. So let me change all the operators. $sign symbol operator to operation. That is better. And now if I see any other place where I have operator with a typo, I'll change it. So operator, nothing here, and then right here, operator, and right here I have operation, and then right here, this, okay, now it's fixed. So this one, it wasn't a condition, a Boolean operator matching with and and or. The and should have said if the first condition and second condition is true, and it was a typo on the operator and the A was missing. So I changed that one to a variable OP for short, and that way there's no typo on it, and it catches right away if you see something wrong on the typo. Because when you're coding, you're writing a lot of variables, and those variables sometimes could be off. Now it says 120, so the multiplication works, but then the symbol on this case plus is equal this, and so that statement was not working with previous one, yet still this statement is not accurate. Minus was the operator, and then the comparison is, oh, it's not equal. So this is, if it is not, if this one is equal that, then do this. Let me try this one, say division. Okay, so it says divide by 0, which I'm not doing divide by 0, but it is matching it, so the denominator. So now it's working partial, and let me fix the last part. V2, VIT2. So what I need to do is the one that it says operator equal that. If the operator is forward slash, if operator is equal forward slash and argument is equal 3, arg3. Yeah, this arg3, I said args3. So this is another typo here. Arg3, I defined it, but then I said args3. There's no such thing as args3. Let me look for args3. And that was only this place, arg3. And then that is going to fix it now. That's why this other variable was empty 0, because arg3 was not defined, but arg3 was defined. So now we run the same code again, and it says divide by 0 is not allowed. That's perfect, and so it's working. The next thing we could do is use this one sample class to see if it adds. Yeah, it adds up correctly. It subtract correctly, and if I change the number, obviously it works with the number. So let me take the set minus x out, because we found out the debugging. So you could comment that one out. It helped us out finding those variables was mistyped with typos. And then now the code is there. Let me just clear the screen, do a cut minus n t2.sh. So this one is 54 lines, and then obviously it gave us a hard time when, since we were just doing a number of things, but it's working now. So the name of the script is t2, number of argument that's passed is 3, and the array is 120 minus 10, and then the argument that were passed on is right here. And so 120 is the first argument, the operator is minus, and then the symbol is 10. That's the next operator. In addition, subtraction of that one is 110 result. So here, if I just change this one to a plus, it will work. So it shows 120 plus 10 is 130. And if I just change it to the bigger number, obviously it's going to work. And then now I need to do division. So 120 divided by 100 is going to be 1. By 10 is going to be 12. And then by 0 is going to say divide by 0 is not allowed, which is perfect. It works the way we want it. If you want, you don't need to print all these arguments for your script when you do it. All you have to do is give the result for it. So this is for demonstration purpose, so you can see the values, and if you use set minus x, you can see any of typo or any other syntax that was incorrect, you could do it. But if I look at the code itself, cut minus n t2.sh, there was nothing wrong with this statement of if comparison with the two condition. The array that I had it within the bracket that I had it in the first place was accurate. The and symbol was accurate. And then the second argument was accurate. The only thing was wrong is that the word operator had a typo. So I changed it to op for operator, and then I store the value of operator coming from this argument and parsing it between the codes correctly, and then get it. So now it comes out to the next question of how many other arguments you want to read. So it is the maximum argument. So if you just decide to pass on more than one argument, and in this case, let's say I just say this plus not 10 divided by 12 plus 5. If I just did that one, and let's see how the result is done. So division is done first, and that should be resulting to the other argument, but because I'm just only calculating this argument, the first three argument, plus and 5, even though it was passed, and you see that it's passed 5 argument, I only executed the number of arguments that I was interested. So the next step is to just accept more expression. So what you could do is, like for example here, let's see, on the VI, the script, let's just copy this one, copy t2.sh to t3.sh, VI t3.sh, because each phase that you fix something, you can just make it better and that way you can look at the code later on and say, oh, up to this point, I was troubleshooting it for this purpose. I was fixing it this one, and then now I need to pick up on it because yesterday I was working on it. It's much easier to look at the code in different stages and correct a certain one. So let's say you want to just add 5 arguments, using 5 arguments. So as simple as that, and now you know that argument 1, argument 2, then and after that one is most likely another operator, right? So argument 4 would be the same thing as another operator. So you could say up2 would be $ arg4, and then cut the same thing with this, and then now argument 5 would be another operator here, arg5, and then just change this one to arg5. So let's say we handle up to 5. I mean, of course, you could just say number of argument passed, and then based on that one, you declare the number of arguments. But I'm just showing you manually for 3 and the 5 arguments, and then you can expand on with the max. And at some point, some part of the code has to be your assignment. Otherwise, I give you the answer to all the question from the beginning of the semester to the end. It's not going to be nice for you to just get the grade that somebody else worked so hard for it, and they figure out everything by themselves. And you get the same A grade that somebody else did the work and got it. So it's better to just learn it and then use the concept to apply it, and you still get the A or B, what did you deserve for it, and then just submit the work. But if I just give you the whole script, then which one part of it I would grade your assignment? It's not making sense on that sense. So please understand that to some level I can explain and I can correct it and I can work on it, but I will not completely finish the project and submit it as this is your project. You have to learn it as well, and you will have to work on it. So here, argument 5 is done, and then I'm going to give you the idea moving forward. The number of argument is passed into arg. $@ has the number of argument, and $pound has the number of arguments. So if you say $pound, the number of argument in this case is 5. Then you just have to have 5 arguments. So I'm going to give you one more idea. The first argument obviously has to be a number or something. And then the second argument is always an operator. And then another operand, then another operator, another operand, another operator. So if you decide to just use brackets, you could put the code saying that I'm expecting the user to give parentheses as the first argument. And if the first argument is parentheses, you just look at it and say if a $arg1 is equal parentheses, then $arg2 is the argument, and then so on. And then $3 becomes the operator. So that way you have to parse depend on what it is. So in this case, let's say as an example, if there was no parenthesis was expected, then you do this part of code. Then otherwise you go to the else part, and then you say $arg1 is the parentheses, $arg2 is the operator is in this case is $arg3. $arg2 is the first operand. I hope you understand that one, and you have to do it with the if then else statement that way. I gave you basically the solution, but you have to code it, and it takes you time to just figure it out. I could tell you afterward if it comes to a level that you're either not clear or you still need help, or maybe some of your friend did it and you just still think that, well, you without that knowledge or that information, you will not be able to finish the project, or even get maybe some percentages of them is done, then I could help you to some level and explain it to it. But please understand that whatever I explain, I'm going to explain it to everybody in the class. So there's no difference, but for somebody that is asking me the question versus somebody is trying himself. So here we go for the arcs. In this case, we did already that arc 5 out, and all we're doing here is that this time we're gonna just pass on more operand here. So this one, we're gonna say $sign arc 3. $sign arc 4 is the argument, then times the operator 2, and then times operator 2 times whatever is a time or whatever is, I'm just saying times, but after that you say $sign arc 5. So now you have the arc 5. The next thing you have to worry about is that now this is a statement where you have this again on $sign arc 5 cannot be equal to 0, right? So if that's there, and then you have to do another and here, and $sign arc 5 is equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, then you're just saying that you cannot divide by 0. So that is taking care of that one. Do we have arc 5 and operation 2? Yeah. And then where's the arc 4? Arc 4 is not there. I'm going to do the arc 4 here. And 4, and then this would be arc 4. And right there, I'm going to get the arc 4 there. This is arc 4, and then operand 1, 2, 3, 4. This was 5, and this one was 6, believe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So 6 is okay, and then I just have to change and this one to argument 6. Argument 6, and then here when we are doing the multiplication, this is arc 4. There are 6 arguments altogether: 1, arc 2, arc 3, arc 4, arc 5, and then arc 6. And then arc 6 is this one, and arc operation 2 is arc arc 5. That's good. So now I run the same script with T3. So let's run it with ./T3 and 12 times 5. No such file or the 3 because I did not put the other such. So it just the multiplication part has to be done after. I will just handle that one after. Let me just do 12 divided by, I'm sorry, the other symbol and divide. So that works. And then 12 divided by 6 is giving you 2. And then I want to just say if I do 0, it's going to fail. And it tells you that you cannot divide by 0. So the first part already worked. Let's try this one at 12, and then plus 12 plus, okay, so this one is operand, then followed by another operand. The order that I put it is different. 12 plus 5 minus 2. Yeah, so let's see, that's 1, and then 1 plus 5 is 6. Minus 2 is not done. 12 divided by 12 is 1, and plus 5 is 6, and minus 2 is not done. Why? Minus this one is 6, and then my plus 5. Okay, so plus 5, that part is ignored because somehow I'm matching up to this part. So this is my first operand, second, third, fourth, fifth. I need to have more than that. So up to one more operand, it was working. So let me just try it first like this, and that is should give me 6. This should give me minus 5. That should give me 1. Minus 4. 12 minus 5 is 12 divided by 12 is 1 minus, yeah, minus 4. That is okay. And then this one is 1 minus 1, 0. Yeah, it works. And then I go and multiply and plus it. So that's 2. That is accurate. And divided by 1. 1 divided by 1 is 1. That's accurate. And then I do divide by 0. It should say you cannot divide it by 0. Okay, so this one, because the number of operand that I'm doing is not finding this one as the same symbol, it's going to skip. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one is not 6, and it's 5. So let me just go and VI the file, vit3.sh, and the argument 6 actually is this one is 5, and this first example is 5, and this one is 5 is so first argument, second argument, third, and then after the third I'm using another operator. I have to use the operator. So this one is 4, because after that one is actually 4 is the argument, and then 5. So this is argument 3, again operator, and then this one is argument 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is 5, which is $argument 5. Because I'm introducing op1 and op2, I have to count the numbers. So 5, 5, and then that's argument 6, and the last one, and right here, this one goes back to the 6 number of arguments divided by 0. This one goes back to 6. So let me just make sure that divide, if it is first argument is arg1 is this, and then operand is that, and the arg3 is equal 3 is equal 0. That's not divide, and then after that one I have read another operand that is accurate, 4, and then 5 is another value. So do I get 4? 4. So 4 is operand, and 5 is a value. value, then I'm going to do operand 3 here between these 5, and then this would be my 6 argument, and then this is operand 3, operation 3, and then this one is 7. So and that is 74507, and let's say the 7 is equal 0, 3 or 7 is equal 0, then that would just fail on the equality. Divide by 0 is not allowed. But then this one, it provided this one, and then I need to do $, operation 2, followed by, so this is the arc1, arc2, arc3, arc4, and then this is arc5, and then operation 3, and then 4, 5, 5, and then 6, and then this is 7. Okay, let's see if we give a larger expression this time. So this is 12 plus 4 plus 5, and then that's 1, 2, 3, another operation plus another 10, and then so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then minus, let's say 5. So it works perfectly with those arguments, and the number of arguments were 7, and then 12 plus 5 is 17, plus 10 is 27, minus 5 is 22. And if I just change this one to let's say 10, it should be give me 12, 17 actually, and not 12. And then if I just change it to 17, it should give me 0. And at 10 actually. Why is it? Because of the order of this. So 5 plus 12 is 17, 17 plus 10 is 27, minus 17 is 10, yes. And minus 27 would be 0. So if I just change that one to multiplication here, multiplication, so the order of precedence is working for me if I just do it with other symbol except multiplication. So the multiplication, I will handle it after. Let me just do it with this. That's accurate. Minus 20. So if I just do another minus here, I should get a negative number. Yeah, that works. And then if I just give this input, and notice that I did not give enough argument, so it says a syntax error. And then now I'm just expecting 7 input, so I need to modify my script, and instead of saying 3, it says the number of argument that I'm expecting is 7. So vit3.sh, and then check for max, and right here I just say 7, and I run the same argument this time with the 6. It's just gonna give me a usage, which is, that's what I expect. But if I give a number here, it's gonna it tried I put an M4. So that's another thing that you could check. Make sure there's a regular expression. You check for the data validation to make sure it does not take strings, and then calculate it on that one. You say, I already sent you the last time on the regular expression how to check for numbers. So basically on your regular expression, you say regular expression is equal, and then you say 0 through 9, and then plus that 0 through 9, and then plus meaning that one or more. If you do a star, means it's 0 or more. So that one has to be in that format. If RE is not in that format, then you're just going to say you pressed some wrong characters, like you do the number of usage. So if you just give less number of argument, anything less than this, it's going to just give you a usage. But if you give the number of arguments correct, is there. Now let's see if the division works. So if I say the division is right here, is the division, this symbol, and then I say 0. The third argument is 0. It should say divide by 0 is not allowed. And this time it did not say that, but let's try the 7 argument here, also 0, and use the symbol division to see if it escapes. Same thing. So the 7 argument is there, and now I need to make sure that it works also for the third argument. So that if the third argument is there, or the 7 argument. So because we have the number of the Boolean operators, bit2.sh with n, that does not make sense in this case, because either the 3 is where was that? Sorry, I must have modified the wrong script, T3. I'm going to do the T3, and then arc7. So right here where I say this, on this one has to be an and symbol, and this one could be either or. So this Boolean operator, either arg7 is equal 0 or arg3 is equal 0, but the operator has to be divided by. So in this case, if I just run the same example here and just make the third argument as 0, it should say divide by 0 is not allowed. And that's what it does. Say the value of denominator is 0. And if I just say, okay, this one is 10, but this one is 0. And if I do both of them, that number is accurate. So I could divide by those numbers and I get the value. But if I just make this value this time 0, it will just say the same thing. So whether argument number 3 is 0 or argument number 7, my script is not bombing out. It works there. What other thing? Now let's do the multiplication. And I don't know if we have time for it tonight for the multiplication. I could just either show you on Tuesday if time does not allow, because we already are at 10:05, and or just do a quick shot at it. So let me just do multiplication here, and right away multiplication is going to fail because the calculation is done on the strings. So right here, def-h and syntax error, line 49 vi, t3.sh, and line 49. So I'm going to do a check here, and since this operator is this, I'm going to do that, and then what I need to make sure is operator 2 or operator 3 does not have the asterisk in front of it. So let's see if and the way I'm putting it with this code, and yeah, so I could skip it, and then it does the work. So if I just do this one like 10, you can see it works, but this slash is called illegal character, in this case because it is not understood as a wildcard, but let me pi t3.h and modify that. So the operator 3 is getting the value, and echo operator there, if $sign operator is equal this, and if we do escape $I, this and to the backslash, this one is giving me the operator $sign operator, $sign operator 2, $sign operator 3. See what we could do. I'm just gonna temporarily and do this part. There's I wanna check it out here and comment out these lines quickly, just for the sake of testing without this if statement, whether I could pass on the argument that I would do. So a legal character, this I just don't want that backslash, I want it like that. Okay, so it does actually interpret it. Let me do this. Okay, it is still reading the asterisk there. BI T2 T, what is that, T3? T3.h. And this, all okay. And then right here, this part is not okay. I'm going to just say if $sign operator is equal 10 is equal slash and arg this is equal that, you enter the value of this. So the operator 3 operator is happening. Just say exit here, and then say echo set -6, and then run it this way. Right now I just put some debugging tools on it and then run it with the same argument here. Okay, so echo $sign 10 and 10 is printed. Then echo CIS 12. Somehow a star is taking the CIS 12, and if I just do a backslash, okay, so this the operand, the star is CIS 12. And this one is getting the CIS 12 because of the number of arguments. This is operand $sign 2, and it is picking up from single character, field 1, field 2. So I could $sign 2 cut -d dot -d. F2 and then cut minus this. It does pick up that the string for some reason. It when it's wildcard, if you echo it, it prints it out an issue. So I don't want to echo it, and then later on I could execute it. I don't need to print them out, and this is fine. So here I'm not printing them out. I'm looking at the comparison, and here I'm doing echo. Right here is going to be a problem. So let me say \code and just do that, and then just close this. So when you do the double quote, within double quote, you have to backspace that one, and then right here also backspace, slash backspace, and then slash backspace, and then the same thing with operation 3. So backslash this and backslash that. Yeah, the asterisk is still getting interpreted, but with everything else is not. Vi t3.sh and then set minus x's out. This one out. If I just run it like this, it works fine with syntax error at the line 1 vi line 1. Okay, let's see, just plus and then 2. If it does say line 1, I'm going to fix that. That's the $3.sh. If what is the line 1? Syntax error. Set minus x. That one. These ones are all okay. Most likely there's another typo somewhere that I may have. I have to catch it afterward. So I could clear the screen and then run this syntax first to see how it works. Line 1 and syntax error. If I just do this one with bash minus x for each line, bash minus x dot slash, it's gonna run, and then at some point the BC is coming out with the syntax error. Everything else is there. So vi t3.sh, the last line, is causing the problem, and right here where you say escape backslash operator, this backslash, so this one is a backslash that. Somehow these cause the problem. Let me just get rid of them, and I'll fix it after. Okay. Yeah, it works now. So I take the syntax the way, and don't run it with bash minus x and run it like this. It will just work. And then if I just change it to minus, it works. If I change it to division, it works. And if I have changed to, let's say this one to be 0, it says divide by 0, not allowed. and that works. If I just make this one work, but this one divided by 0 is not allowed, that's also. So everything works except the asterisk. The asterisk, I'm going to change that one because no matter where I put the asterisk, it's gonna just get the wildcard. So next time, either operand 2 or operator 3, there's a typo somewhere there that it's not getting earlier from the example of T1.sh when we did it, and we passed the operator, and then it was not a problem. So if I say .t1.sh and then say 12 times 5 times 5, and it was working, but now it's not. Was it T2? Maybe it was. I fixed it. No, or T. Oh, T was the one that it was there. So if I just say 12 times and then 5, it would get it. So the way I read the expression, it was just passing it on there with the read function. So then I'm going to update it next Tuesday when we meet together to handle the asterisk correctly, like it does on this expression. Because right here, if you do cat minus n t.sh, this is giving you this things. I'm reading an expression there, and if the expression is passed, whatever argument is passed, it just knows that it's okay. So right here, if I just run it by default like this, it's going to say, give me an expression, say 100 and then times 5, that should give me 500, and it works, and it's fine. The only thing is that with the other ones, I'm just converting it differently, so I have to compare it and look at, see where I might have a typo somewhere there with the operators, and I will catch it and correct it. And then Tuesday we can go over that one again and cover. The next part is that how you pass it into Zenity with a command line, and also how you pass on the number of arguments. We already covered 7 of them. I mean, you can go a longer expression if you want to, and by just passing this number of arguments. So basically, I give you 75% of the code already there. The other 20% would be Zenity GUI, or maybe if you look at the Zenity that the code is already there, you already have it. If it's not there, maybe 50% of this script is your Zenity things, maybe it's 10%, depending on how you look at it and where you find the proper syntax to just create a form. And then once you do that, when the rest of them is there. I'll post these ones sometime tonight or the next day, and it will be available for you. Okay. I hope you all have a great evening. We already passed the class time, but because we were in the middle of it, I just didn't want to stop. At least you get something working, and then on top of it, we can add on to it. Again, when you're coding, it might just be like a number of days or a number of hours that you work on it without explanation and without correcting it different ways. You might do it faster than I did, but it's up to you how you want to handle it with your approach. You're welcome to suggest any other solution that you feel to your classmates on the next Tuesday that you think that is better way, and then or just ask question if you have question. So we're going to stop at this time. You guys have a nice evening, and we will meet on Tuesday. I'll post whatever I have here sometime tonight or tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Jonathan. Take care. Thank you, guys.